MG back with you. Today we're on a little adventure. We're driving 3.5 hours up to just north of Detroit, Michigan to pick up a car. Woo! Here we are on the road. We got about 2 hours and 42 minutes left to get there. This car is for Captain Oblivious, and we'll show you the car when we get up there. So here's the car we came up to get, a Magnette. He's already actually got one Magnette already, but it's a really rough car, missing a lot of parts and glass and stuff. And this one appears to have more of the parts, all the hard to find stuff that he's looking for, and it doesn't look as rotten. So we don't know what's going to end up happening with it just yet, or when we're going to get around to doing anything with it. We were talking about starting on his other car here relatively soon, and we were going to just have some fun with it and throw it on an S10 chassis and make a rat rod out of it. But we're going to have to assess this car, see what it looks like, and then make a decision about which car is going to be used as the base for his project and what's going to actually end up happening with it. And maybe when we get it back, we'll get it all loaded up, get it back to his house, and take a little closer look at it. So here's his original Magnette. It's getting really rough anymore. The floors are pretty much completely gone. Trunk floor's gone. There's nothing of an interior left. A lot of trim missing, rear windows missing, engines locked up, all that stuff. So he wasn't feeling bad about the idea of kind of rat rodding this thing out. And we found this because it had all the parts. But now we're not sure what's going to happen. The rat rod thing may not happen. We'll see. But it's actually got a early B 1800 sitting in it. It's just sitting there. It's not bolted in. But none of the glass is broken. And the seats look like, with a little bit of conditioning, they'd actually be usable. Headliner is not actually terrible. Still has its clock in it. The dash is a lot better condition than the other one was. It still has the lower shelf and everything in it. So it's so much better starting point than the other one was, but then starts making you feel bad about rat rodding something. So we'll see what the plan ends up being. And then we got all this stuff in the trunk here where it looks like somebody was going to work on it, and they had some material there. And we got a bunch of the trim stuff here. So all this missing trim off the side of the car all seems to be all in here. We haven't taken it out to inventory it yet, but yeah, much better starting point to actually do something with, especially if he decides to try to keep it together as a actual, just like lightly restored, drivable, usable Magnette rather than building a rat rod. The car used to be black, was painted maroon at one time, and is now on primer, but it's got a bunch of rot around here, which is normal. But the floors themselves are actually pretty solid, except for the usual spots of up underneath this panel here on the bottom. It always traps rot in there. That's rotten out a bit, but much easier car to try to make solid again. All right, so we went ahead and pulled everything out of the boot, and like all the pieces of carpet were here. And not advisable to use them, but they're good for patterns. Door panels are here, good for patterns to make new ones. We got a bunch of the wood pieces from the interior. We found we had all of the side trim, all of these pieces of side trim that weren't on it, plus the side spears for both sides. The original jack, and some other bits of interior, and we found all of the parts for the complete assembly for the rear license plate, which is hard to find stuff. And it even has the fuel tank in it, which every, you know, cheap Magnette in this condition I've found, that's been missing in. And the trunk floor is the most intact of ones I've seen, you know, like this, that aren't running, driving cars. So, yeah. We've got some more pieces here, which are interior trim stuff. But, yeah, I think we got ourselves a pretty good score for the price. Even got the original spare tire hold down and all those little bits that just disappear on cars like this and are hard to go out and find. So the guy that had this thing just had it parked in front of his business just to attract attention. Had no interest in Magnettes, MGs, or anything. He had a car, of all things, a detailing shop. So he did stuff like put, you know, Trump and Kanye West in here, and then he had mannequin in there and stuff just to attract attention. So interesting to put a rusty primered car in front of a auto detailing place to attract attention, but I guess it did its job. But then they're cleaning up the area around him, building a lot of new buildings, making it a lot nicer, and they came in and told him that he couldn't have it out in front of his business unless he tagged it and insured it and all that crap. So he decided to sell it instead. So now we got it. I can't make any promises of when you'll see any content on this again, but at some point you will see some more content on at least one of these two. Either we'll rat rod this one out and have some fun and throw a V8 in it and on S10 chassis, or we'll do something with this and hopefully actually keep it a Magnette and decent car with and rebuild the 1800 and all that. So we'll see. At any rate, thought I'd just do a quick video on this. Thought you guys might be interested. So this is MG Rob. Later.